is Friday, August 29th. It's going to be a little trade recap, breakdown kind of dealio. What was I thinking? So, coming into market. Market open today. I had all these levels marked out on the 1 hour. These are kind of what I was thinking. But coming into market open, we had news at 5:30 for price index, and that was this candle right here. So, coming down to the 15-minute, we can see the levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the downside. So, news at 5:30 was this candle. That was about 70 points, I think. 53. So, that news caused price to sweep the internal liquidity before market open. Right? It swept it right here, took out liquidity, and created this fair value gap on the 5-minute. Right here. So, what I did is I waited for market to open at 6:30, which I think is right here. 6:30 right here. And I was either waiting for price to break above this to sweep this high, or break below this internal low to sweep this low. So what happened was, sorry about that bird, that thing is loud. What happened was I went to the lower time frame, right? And I took this 5-minute fair value gap, and I used this 1-minute fair value gap. And same thing over here. I saw in the lower time frame that we had this imbalanced 1-minute fair value gap. Okay, so that gave me two options depending on if price wanted to sweep higher or go lower. So what I did was waited for price to react on the open. As you can see, it's 6:29, 6:30, and then after the open, we started to create a lower high. The reason for that is because we had already swept out liquidity and rejected off this 1-minute fair value gap after news came out. So right here, we tried to put in a second high before news came out and rejected off of that downwards trend. So coming into the open, we broke through this gap with big selling pressure. We broke this, internal low with big selling pressure. And then as we're approaching the main low, we broke through, created a 1-minute gap right here that you could have re-entered in on with a rejection, right? Rejection off of the internal low right here. And then as price breaks down, also creating a lower low, you just get a confirmation that price is going to sweep lower. So what you could have done is you could have had your target right here, 25 to 30 point stop loss, which would have been probably at the entry of this right here, or you can put it wherever you want. And then you essentially just target your draws on liquidity. What I like to do is I like to make them green. So I'll make them like that. That'll eventually turn this off because that's a lot of noise. And so take this, boom, 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 down to this one, which would have been way down there, but I would have only gone for this one because I don't like to target these wicks. These wicks are very unpredictable. So right here, that would have been a 5, so 1 to 5. So I typically go for 1 to 1s or 1 to 5 because I risk $150 on each trade I have in the morning. because I have a daily loss of $300, so it gives me 2 times each day. So given this one is a ratio of a 4.89, so 1 to 5, gives me $750. I only got out with 317 because I needed a little bit more to pass my 50K PA. Yes, I could have held it for more, but that's all I really needed. That's all I wanted. So again, recap, we had these hires. We had these higher draws on liquidity. We had this internal high. We had this low, and then we had the liquidity sweep from news. We had this internal low, and then we couldn't create any more like buyer strength because it was all right here. We broke through the gap, 5 and 1 minute gap combined. We broke internal low with strength to break the main low. There was a 1 minute and 5 minute retracement right here that you could have used for entry. And then you just target the draws on liquidity over here. What you could have also done is entered in off of the break of this fair value gap, which could have been a great entry. You could have had it like this, something like that, with your stop at the high, and then same thing, targeted the lows, whichever one floats your boat. The reason I didn't do that is because I was waiting for price to hit this and then see what would have happened. So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to go over. Go over the trade, go over what I was thinking. I passed my 50K PA, so I'm eligible for a payout now. Again, today's Friday, so I'll probably wait until either Monday or Tuesday to request it out, depending on how the site updates. Monday's a holiday, so I will not be trading that day unless I decide to buy like a Top Step account or whatever. But again, I'm going to wait to see if I get approved for a payout or denied and just go from there. But yeah, we'll end of the week recap. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, liked how I broke down. Leave a comment or subscribe, or you know the dealio. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch you guys in the flip. Peace out.